This your boy HD. Everybody get up on the dance floor and go, and go, and go crazy, and go crazy, and go crazy, and go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go crazy like a dum-dum. Eastside homeboy, where I come from. Dance on the floor till you go numb. No fighting, no hating, no red rum. This is O City. All the way to the bay. Hit the bass, feel me. Catch a case cause it's beating up your Chevy. Get you moving side to side, getting out sweaty. Make it work it, work it, work it out. Turn the volume up loud. This a draw crowd. Make it all shout. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Hit play on the track and now I'm ready.
Hey sis, what's going on? I don't know if bro realizes when he mutes himself, he mutes our intro music. That's all right. What's going on, good people? We are early on this Tuesday. It's 8:02, and it is time for another Scoop Show. All right, so we have got a pretty dope agenda set up for you all on this evening. I'm kind of excited about it. We already, I already talked us in. So we've got a really good agenda set up for you guys on this evening. I'm sorry, I'm copying my notepad. My welcome in the right way. So go ahead and get comfortable. Go ahead and drop your city and state in the comment section for us, so we know where you are tuning in from on this evening. Also, while you're down there,
because he says my fantasies are wrong. He's like in the behind me.
There we go. So how we good evening. Sorry, y'all, I gotta recalibrate real quick. Thank you so much. This was up, San Antonio. If you would, while we're coming on in here and getting comfortable this evening, go ahead and drop your city and state in the comment section for us, please. We do like to know where you are tuning in from on these shows, because it lets us get acquainted, let us know where to target and do all that good stuff. So that's our way of saying come on in this room and saying hello. While you're down there hanging around that comment section, if you would please hit that share button so your people them, your mama and them, your cousins and them, all your friends, your fam who you like to do these interwebs with, know you will be chilling with the Scoop this evening. And while you're at it, go on in that caption section, say join us. We're gonna chop it up this evening, and we want you in here, all right, joining us for that good conversation. Yeah, so after you hit that share button, drop your city and state, we want to give you the ways that you can stay locked in with us here on the Scoop throughout the week. We know that this is a busy time of the evening. You might be cooking dinner, you might be setting the babies up, getting baths, all that good stuff. We get it. Okay, I completely understand. We completely understand. So we have got replays on deck for you, okay, and many ways for you to catch up on those replays that I'm speaking of. You can follow us on YouTube at The Scoop Show. You can follow us on Facebook at Real Scoop Show. You can hit us up on Instagram at Scoop Radio Show. And we are also out here on SoundCloud these days. All right. So we understand that you can't always sit and watch, look at us. You know, we kind of cute though. We think we kind of cute. But we know that's not always something that you can do. So we want to give you a SoundCloud. All right. So you can go ahead and put those headphones in, hit that good old treadmill, get it in for the one time with the Scoop, and stay in the loop. Hey, bars. That wasn't even on purpose. That just kind of freestyle for y'all real quick. But anyway, you can check us out on SoundCloud at The Scoop Show also, and that'll allow you to get that good audio rocking while you move about your day. And when you are chilling out on those social media sites like Instagram and Facebook specifically, that is where we create and pull from our comments, our posts, all that good stuff. But most importantly, you guys are really, really awesome at sliding in our DMs and sharing the conversations that you are engaging in outside of our space. Okay, we can't be everywhere. We got jobs, we got babies, we got lives, we got things to do. We outside again. Okay, so we don't have the same amount of time that we used to sit and scroll and find all of these great conversations. We can't be everywhere at once. So you guys have been clutch at coming through and sliding our DMs and sharing with us your the conversations that have been getting you and your people going. So slide in the DMs, give us the images, the links, give us your thoughts, and we will put them up and share them with our people, and we're going to chop it up. And often if we get quite a few comments, or if the conversation gets real juicy, that's going to be on the show. We're going to take it to the world, Craig, and put your conversation out here for the nation through straight out of the inbox. So when you're scrolling and you happen to see that image right there, you already know. Let me go on and get in here, because this might be talked about later on, and I want to slide on in that thing. All right. Straight out of the inbox. Replays, Patreon. All right. So a couple weeks ago, probably a month or so, y'all, time is flying. We're about to be back in the fall here in just 2 minutes. We informed you guys that we have launched a new effort, the Patreon. We're out here on Patreon, and we are giving you guys backstage passes, so to speak, and backstage access specific just for you, access to Win and I and our very, very awesome group of friends who are educated, entertaining, and ready to share with you all. So we have 3 options for you all to log in and get caught up with the scoop behind the scenes and get that all access pass that our Tuesday night show does not offer, by searching the scoop on Patreon, and you will be able to sign up for a half scoop, a full scoop, or double scoop of the scoop. Okay, and we have subscriptions starting as low as $5, and they go from $5 to $10 to $25. You see, boom, image, half scoop, full scoop, double scoop. You're going to get shows that are tailored specifically for your group, for this group. We've got some discount packages coming up for our live events. We have we're going to have a chat space. We've got a community that's set up just for us, and we are going to have some new endeavors. We've got a scoop of sex on the way, and we've got some private interviews and events, merchandise, all kinds of stuff coming up. All right, so if you want to get locked in, if you love us so much and want to support us and help this here podcast grow, we implore you to go to Patreon and help support with picking your scoop, pick your flavor, all right, and hang out with us on Patreon. All right, I think that's it. How are you?
Fine.
We good? Nephew good? Good.
He's all right. Growing pains.
Facts.
So, what's up, Rico?
We all need to put our head on our daddy's shoulder sometimes. We all need to do that.
I see my man Rico. Shatoria, welcome back. You've been gone. We missed you. Yeah. I don't know who Facebook user is, but hello.
I know, I hate it when it does that. It just not showing me either. Yeah,
it just says Facebook user, but what's up, people? Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. Today's been a day full of meetings. I had morning and afternoon meetings. It's been one of those days. And they were good meetings, but meetings. Yeah, nonetheless.
That's important people stuff.
Listen, I was about to say yep, and I'm like, well, I mean, yeah. Listen, I came home and turned on the hearings. That's just how little I wanted to engage, because I just needed to.
November 6th or January 6th?
January 6th. Yeah, I was catching up on that. I was doing one of these at the TV after I did our show, as I just kind of let's let them talk. Like I said, I'm gonna let them talk for a while. They're good at that. They're doing plenty of that. They don't need me. So I did that for about 30 or 45 minutes, and
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so,
Kels.
No, that's Kels. Okay, what's up, Kels? Now we see you, Epps, Keisha Epps. Hello. What's going on? Yeah, I want to say shout out to Keisha Epps and to Kels and to Shatoria for hitting that share button so far. Thank you. Y'all keep it up. Keep it up. So, and then whoever just hit the like button, they don't show me that shit. But okay. Y'all, sorry. You threw me off.
Appreciate you.
That man threw me off. So discombobulated.
It's all right. I had to pivot and get back on my I was like, all right.
I was like, wait, what is she doing? Why can't I hear her talking? Oh yeah, I put the phone. I put it on mute.
Then when you took it off, I was like, mute again. We good. Go back to we got it.
You gotta love it. All right. You ready to get into these hot topics?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let us do it. All right. So tonight's first hot topic is this I put this on first because y'all, this the one Q don't want to do. So
wait, let me go back here. Oh.
I got all kind of eye rolls. You said, okay. And I'm not telling you how you really feel. So this one, I saw this today. I think Check posted this one. It said, once you catch him cheating, he'll never trust you again. True or false, and why? Once you catch him cheating, he'll never trust you again. True or false, and why? Thoughts?
I say hella true. This is very true. Yes, there are countless stories that women have told and won't tell of this happening, and men who know but won't always discuss this. This is, by and large, it's understood that men don't deal with this well. Period. So it is just it's one of them dish it but will not take it. And I think the reason why this particular thing rings true so often is because they know they wouldn't stay. Like, most often men don't stay after they realize like their girl is cheating. Like, that is the easy out. I'm done. It's very, very hard for a man to come back from that if he stays. So they just be out. So they're thinking, why? I'm just waiting on it. Like, she gotta be giving me, like, it's coming. You know what I mean? It's gonna be worse.
It right there.
It's yep. So yeah, this one is.
That's it right there. It's the idea that, like you said, what we did is gonna happen to us. Mm-hmm. And really the word of it, is the word of it is we have not settled within ourselves what we did, and have not, even if we have felt like we've asked for forgiveness and received a level of forgiveness, we know like what we deserve, and you just kind of like waiting for it to happen, like it's gonna happen. And so after that, you just on point, on pins and needles, just waiting for it to happen, because at some point it's coming. Mm-hmm. So I can't disagree with this.
Yeah. The point, sometimes I think they create the situation they're trying to avoid. Yeah. With that, Yeah.
Well, I've been here. I've been here. So I get it. I've been here. I've been the person who has done, and then had to catch myself like nothing is happening, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm like that. I struggle with that because I haven't done anything in my I haven't cheated, but because I've cheated in the past, I still in my mind sometimes.
You still know that it's coming back at some point.
And I openly say this. Like, I have this thing in my where it's like this is how bad I can tell you how bad I am. I ain't gonna talk about nobody else. I'm so bad with this, Q, that I feel like, and I've said this for at least 10, 15 years, like, God is gonna wait until I really like the person, and then boom, and I'm gonna be broken all the way down. And it'd be like, remember all that stuff you did? This is your payback. Now again, I know, right? You gotta get over it. And I know I know that's something I've made up. I mean, like I'm saying, I don't, but that's just for me the level of like So that's why I'm like, just don't cheat.
Mhm.
Don't
Mhm.
cheat. Don't cheat
Yeah.
because you cannot handle all of the stuff that comes with cheating. So just don't do it. Make your life a lot easier.
Mhm.
Be the good guy. Don't be like me.
Because this one's damn near stand on it as truth. Like this is time and time again. This one isn't almost one of those. Well, it just depends. No, not really. When it doesn't ring true, that's an outlier situation more often than
Yeah.
not.
Or you know, like you have to almost again, you almost have to harden yourself to the point where you just can't care, which is problematic too, because like you actually want to care about somebody, but you can't let them too close because now that idea of, is this going to be the one that's going to break my heart? You know, that's after I really try and turn over the leaf. Is this going to be the one? So it's like you got to harden yourself not to think about it, but at the same time, in order to do that, you keep yourself from really being able to care about somebody like you really want to the depth that you want to. So you have to, again, that's what I say, you have to settle it. Like, you know, for me, it's, hey, if it happens, it happens. Ain't nothing I can do about it. I done already did it. God forgave me, so I'm gonna be all right. Like, but I can't.
So, question. I know we got to go on, but you just mentioned something. So, the whole harden yourself to be able to deal with the just in case of it. Do you think that? Because I believe that is very much true. A lot of folks would rather wall it off so that if it happens, it doesn't hurt as much. Period. So I understand that. But do you think that if there was a more in-depth conversation or accountability type of exchange between the man and the woman where there was an understanding made as to, meaning she gets to express to him what that did to her and what needs to happen to heal for the forgiveness to be the kind that they can both be at peace in, knowing that, okay, I'm good? Or do you think that part gets rushed through sometimes and it doesn't get its full cycle, and that's what creates that background level of anxiety to, ooh, she's still gonna, like, we haven't really dealt with it, she's just letting us move through it.
Yeah.
Do you think if there was more flat out truth that was able to share that exchange of, this hurt, it was effed up, don't do that shit again, you know what I mean? And this is what I'm gonna need to truly get back right with you, and then like owning that, and you know what I mean? Like, do you think that would help?
Yeah. It's a wonderful question. I actually think that if it were as, I won't say easy, but if it was as simplistic as you just made it, I think that would. I think that would definitely help. I think what happens is we could ask that question, but then even if given the space to do that, I think what happens a lot of times is the level of fire that comes back is so much that you like, you know what, like I know I deserve something, but it don't feel like I'm getting back. It feels like I'm getting back more than what I deserve. Like, I've apologized. I gave you time, but at some point, like, we gotta, like, you know what I mean?
Okay, you mean after that conversation would happen, it's dragging on after like that.
Well,
I'm done with
we get it's not going to be like a conversation or a couple of conversations, but like, I mean, like 2 years later, I'm going to hang out with my guys, going on a guys trip, and it's like, oh, let me, it's like, wait, that was 2 years ago. I thought we were past, and it comes back up. It's the dealing with that, and not so much in the, like, I had a moment, hey, I'm thinking about it right now, you about to go on this guy's trip, like, that's normal, but it's the that cut. It's like, whoa, hold on, like, I thought we was past that part and into the next stage of trying to build. That I think that makes it hard. Like, we don't get to that part. We expect to get it. We do. We know if you mess up, you're gonna get it.
I wonder though, if we had more of the types of exchanges of what I asked for the question, if that would also change in women. I think a lot of that lingers because it doesn't really get dealt with. So there hasn't really been a recovery of that. So now I'm triggered because this is a higher potential for what could have been. You know what I mean? So I wonder for both people if that full on, going through the full process of it would create that peace for both of them. So she
Yeah.
wouldn't feel the need to come back and bring it up, because that was a thing we went through, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Go have
I
fun.
think-
Call me when you get there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think part of that too.
You go through it. Go ahead.
I think part of that also has to do with how you find out and what you find out too.
True.
So I
Facts.
think like part of it, if it's, you know, and I hate to, no, I ain't gonna use him today, but I think if it's, you know, I won't use him today because he's in the hospital. But if it's a situation where, you know, it's public and it's all across the internet, and you find out that way versus, you know, I checked your phone and saw it and nobody know but me. You like that's, I think that's a different thing as well. But I think the other thing that we have to recognize too, and is that when you cheat as the offender, if I'm the one who cheated, I'm the offender, I don't get to tell you. I don't get to tell you your process. But at the same time, I would hope that there is a level of, that you see a level of, you know, contriteness and sorrow and repentance, where this isn't just something that is continually A, used as a weapon, and B, something that is, that, you know, you recognize, man, okay, he's really sorry, he's really made some changes. Let's deal with the feeling and not deal with the, so yeah, so I think there's a lot of, you know, layers to it. There's a lot of, you know, nuances that could make it, that could determine, you know. And then again, if you find out, it's one thing to find out your person cheated on you once, it's another thing to find out you've been in a 12-year relationship with me. Like, so
what, half the back block? Yeah,
so,
true story.
Yeah, let me see what Keisha says. She says so many layers. Is the offended, so many layers. Is the offended person that chooses to stay truly given, truly trying to forgive, or are they still punishing them? Yep.
Which is often very much what happens.
Is the one who offended willing to put in the work to restore the trust? It may take a lot. Yeah. And that's why I think where your question is of saying, like, this is what I need. Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, I think there are, you know, I'm gonna say there's room to negotiate, but there's definitely, like, I think that I've seen instances where even as like the third party counselor, I'm like, man, what you're asking is a bit,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. Like, you gotta hear what you're asking. That's
I believe there should be some fairness. There should be some you got room to do a little more than, you know, that is your, if you're gonna pick a time, that was the time to, you know, you got a little more leeway in that. But I think for a person to stay engaged in the effort of regaining your trust, whereas feeling like you're adding to, like, you're now exchanging pain for pain. It's one thing to, you know, take a consequence, and it's a whole other thing to feel like now I'm harmed.
Exactly.
You know, behind it.
That's
yeah,
exactly
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's tough. That's why I say don't cheat. Just don't cheat.
You never have to worry about these things. Right. So true.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Anything else?
That wasn't so bad.
See? It wasn't so bad after all. All right. Getting into a fight with someone. Hold on. Getting into a fight with someone because you expressed what made you upset, and they find a way to make you feel bad about it instead of acknowledging your feelings, is the most defeated feeling in the world. You're left regretting it and wishing you'd said nothing at all. How can we communicate how this feels when we believe this is being done to us? Yeah, getting into a fight with someone because you express what made you upset and they find a way to make you feel bad about it instead of acknowledging your feelings is the most defeated feeling in the world. You're left regretting it and wishing you'd said nothing at all. Yep. Okay.
Listen, I had to struggle with that word salad. That was the original post to make this one make some sense. And even you reading it out loud, I was still like, was that the right? Too funny. That's the English.
When I read the original post, I said the same thing. I was like,
right. I get it, but that ain't what you said. Like that. All right.
yeah.
So that's the best I can do with what we were given and not, still trying to be as close to the post as possible. But this right
Yeah.
here, though, yeah, this one I struggle with. This one is hard. Because I am a very, especially when in conflict, I believe there's a certain level, there's a healthy level of conflict and, being able to confront someone about a situation so that it can get better. And I'm also a person who does not like to get overly emotional in those moments, because I know where I go, and you never know where someone else is going to go as far as that back and forth. And now we're not focused. So like, if we're already in disagreement, the last thing that we need to do is get distracted from what we're talking about. Right. So these types of exchanges, oh my God, these are the ones that I feel the least willing to sign up for multiple times. These are the ones I bow out before I'm gonna keep trying. Like I've learned it about myself over time, because I would love to say that I'm one of those people that I'm gonna come back with all of my tips and my strategies and all that. In my experience, like that's a losing battle, and it drives me batty, because yes, it does make you feel extremely defeated. Absolutely. Especially in a space when you should be able to set a boundary or share a thing that is specific to that thing and it stay there. And this is often when you first discover your wrongs in a thing. Like, don't wait until I'm telling you something is crazy and now here you go with the 15 other things that are 5 times worse than the one thing I'll be like, come on now. And this isn't just people, period. We all know someone who does this at work. We've all been in a relationship with somebody like this. We've all had this friend. We have this family member. And I'm like, no, I'm going to high and by you real good and keep pushing. That's what I'm going to do.
Yep. I can't agree with you. I've been on, so this is another one. I've been on both sides of this one. Like, and being on the side of the person who's trying to explain themselves, or talk about what's bothering them. Like you said, it is a very disappointing thing. It makes you think, not only does this person, like, eventually it makes you feel like not only does this person not want to hear me, but this person doesn't really care about me.
Right.
So I just need to shut up and make a decision about whatever I'm going to do. And then having been on the other side of it, I remember thinking, like, I really wasn't trying to be that person. I used to always think, like, I'm trying to add context to what's happened. And in the process of adding context to what happened, I've deflected what's happened and, like, made it seem like I'm not trying to, stand in what I did. And I'm like, no, I did do that, but I did it because no, I'm telling you how I feel, and I get that you're telling me how I feel, but how can I get you to understand that you're upset about something, like the middle of something, but you forgot the beginning that led to it, and now I'm trying to, and so I think that's difficult. So to that point, I've learned, like, in that moment, let's just deal with what you tell me. Okay, so I did this that hurt your feelings. And okay, well, let's deal with that. I apologize. What can we do moving forward? Blah, blah, blah. And let's resolve that. Now that that's over and settled, now let's talk about the beginning and how we got there. So now that I recognize that when I do this, this is what you do, and how we can, in the future, I cannot do that to you. I recognize I'm going to own that, and I'm going to do that. Okay, got it. Now let's talk about this part. Because this whole thing is what's happening, and I need you, and whether it's something you need to do different, I need to do different, but I need you to see there's a trigger that happened, or there's something that's happened that brought me to that point, and now I need to go ahead and let's focus on that. And I ain't saying do it right after either, but let's deal with that. Let's settle that. To your point, everybody deserves to be heard. Everybody has, needs to make adjustments, and when necessary, and that's fine. But I'm not going to do that. So it's hard, but I'm like you. Like after somebody shows me a couple of times that they're not listening to me, I'm not talking to you anymore.
No, that's the fastest way to get this communicator to shut down. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I like how you just, I like your point about finishing the one thing, then moving to the next. Because and then your final point there was of not necessarily today, because a person knows when you're waiting or you're rushing it to get to their thing. If so you've got to allow that process to settle where that person can even feel like we've reached a conclusion, sincerely reached the conclusion of the thing, and they're in a space to hear what the root could have been or what's going on with you. But in the midst of that moment, it feels like a one up. Like you waited too late. You know what I mean? Like you just said it. Or they waited too late to say it's me. You know what I mean? Like I'm hurt first. So now that you were the one that said it, now that but I didn't tell you about when you did that. I let that go. Well, sorry, I'm not letting this thing go. Now then you're the a-hole because you told her, well, I don't give a damn about that right now. This ain't about that. This is about this. We can talk about that in a minute. And that then now you're again distracted. You're talking about something that don't even matter. That's
you are. So, yep. And I don't even like it's like I don't in that instance, I don't know if it was a distraction or if it's just like it feels like you're being gaslit. Almost.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So this one is it's a tough one, and I think we got to be aware of it because our first thought is to defend ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's not always, I don't think most people go into confrontation. Oh, I'm in trouble. Let me come up with my, what I mean? Like I don't think the average person does that, but especially if the intention was not to cause harm, but this is where we are, and now I want to show all the reasons why this shouldn't be this way or how this also could have offended me and I just didn't tell you. And that's over time, we hope that gets better and you're able to feel confident to share those things in real time with your friends, family, whatever it is. But when we build it up,
it takes practice and
it does take practice.
Yeah.
And a lot of trust has to be built in having healthy confrontation to let a person let that happen. Yeah.
Exactly. Especially if we're depending on your attachment style and the environment. Because a lot of us, like I think through, like I was laughing this weekend, like watching my mother interact with the boys, and I'm like, and so we were having a conversation, and she was like, "Man, the way that you deal with them versus the way I two completely different things."
Yeah,
like she's like, "You'd have done whatever, done this thing. I'd have just hit you. I'd have like, stop, stop." She's like, now, she's like, and that's the way that you do it now is good. She's like, but just even watching the differences is very interesting. She's like, because and I'm like, yeah. But my way is hard. Seeing feels feels harder because it's easy to just like shut up and do it, as opposed
that's a long-term reward we waiting on for that type of parenting.
Yeah. So
my mom says the same thing.
Yeah, even in that kind of thing, it's there's a difference in just being able to, like I said, build that type of place where they trust you, where they know, I can have these conversations, and even if I'm wrong, it's going to be handled in a way that I can feel is fair or so.
Yeah. Shout out to our parents giving us our kudos for our gentle parenting, gentler parenting, because I still go left sometimes. I'm not very team physical, plus my kids are bigger, so I don't really have to do to put your hands on them. But yeah, I catch myself sometimes like, yep. That was Marissa. Like, that's that old school. I went back to my roots on now. But overall,
I channel Cindy on a regular basis. And I'm
overall, though, she has been very, very, she's expressed it often that the way that my brother and I raise our kids is she digs the hell out of it. She was like, that's some cool stuff. Like, I would have never thought she wasn't hard, but it was just different. It was very different. We were all pretty much raised the same. So seeing us take the extra effort and have the extra, go through the extra steps and say the different things and use the strategy. They're like, yeah, we ain't did all that shit. Like, close my door, do them dishes, don't come back down my hallway. Like that was the gentle parenting when it was in a tone like that. Close my damn door. Go in there and do them damn dishes and get out my hallway. Like that was gentle as it was gonna get.
If you didn't get hit, that's considered gentle.
Yeah, that was gentle.
Cuss, you good.
I start flying from that side of the bed, girl. Like I didn't get that. Hang in there.
I live to fight another day. So Keisha says they're deflecting instead of taking ownership, trying to flip the script on you. Yep. What's up, Dre? Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. My man KG, what's up? What's going on, KG?
What's going on, bro?
Yeah. KG says, I feel like I'm too intelligent for my words to fall on deaf ears, therefore I won't bother if I feel like you're not going to hear them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think I've said something similar to that almost verbatim. Like, I work really, really hard to make sure what I say is exactly what I mean. It's clear. Why are we doing this? Why are we here? Like, how did we get here? Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, you got anything else on that topic?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. This one is this is a straight out. Because y'all know I wouldn't have came up with this one.
Oh yeah.
All right. How would you feel if a man you're dating was a sperm donor? Do you care, or is it too risky? If he was childless or getting older, would that change your perspective? Is he playing God of his seed or protecting his legacy?
I'm not familiar with all of the laws on paternity and sperm situations and like the donor type situations. If I were a casual dater and was dating a man casually with no plans of future, I probably wouldn't care very much. You do you with you and your children. Like I'm not, because we're not having none. I don't see future. If this was a person that I would see myself possibly long-terming it with, that would be concerning to me, because I don't, again, this is me being ignorant to whatever laws would be on the books currently to make a sound decision for now, but it's changes. So like, who's to say we're in the thick of it with our kids and here come a whole bunch of mini yous that are now also our kids, your kids, and whoever else. Like, no.
Yeah.
That would be we'd have to talk about it in real time, like right now. Like, sit down. Hold on, what?
Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna lie. My initial thought was, what? This is crazy. Mm-hmm. But then, like, as I read the comments on the post, I was like, okay, about, the number of people who have infertility, infertility issues and, want to have children. And I'm like, okay, I can see that. And those, I can see how that's that would be cool. I think my concern was, and I said on the post, was similar to yours, which was like, I need to know more. Like, can you have? I've seen too many movies, so I don't even, like a couple of movies with this in there, and dude find out he got 37 kids. So, like, is that what happens? I mean, is it like they use it one time, one child and that's it? Like, what is the? I don't know. So that's what I was like. I wonder. That's the part that I wondered. But I think from a fertility standpoint, from the second part of the question, if you didn't have any kids and it was an issue of like he wanted to have kids later, then that makes sense to me. But I think that's him
saving. Yeah, no, because that was what got me about the legacy and got like, because you have to like, isn't the whole point of having your legacy to like be a part of it? Is this sperm donoring, meaning you're giving your sperm to potential moms with fertility issues to go off and have babies that you aren't going to be connected to? Or is this you saving sperm for later on if you do happen to marry and it's later on and you want to possibly have a child one way or the other, you have you raring to go? Because I don't think sperm works that way. I know eggs work that way, but I don't know if sperm has a shelf life that can be extended like that. Because I'm like, that whole legacy thing and I need kids and all that was lost on me. Because like them gonna be her kids as far as the whole process goes. If you're doing the,
again, not an expert.
yeah,
I thought that if it hit air, they died.
yeah.
Burned it. So I was like, so
it lasts for a certain amount of time because like you got to go in from you to the cup and then it's gotta.
Right, which is what I'm saying.
There.
Like I'm concerned. Like, so do you do it into like a tube or?
Child.
I had questions. I got questions. I don't know. So, all that aside, I thought for me that it was the end of the day. Like in terms of infertility issues, absolutely.
Okay, it's frozen.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So
say he's doing that. If he's freezing them for him potentially later, that would be something that I would be totally. I mean, I probably would end up if I found out the technicalities of it. I'd probably be all right with the other one too. But that I can understand a lot more because women do the same thing. They freeze their eggs for if later on in life. That would help me with the whole childless legacy part of things. But if you mean you gonna have your sperm frozen for another chick randomly you never gonna talk to, touch,
right.
That ain't got nothing to do with your legacy. That's gonna be her and whoever boo she with's legacy. Like, is that to me, legacy is something you pour into and are there to witness and grow and all that.
I see, and I thought like the process of like, again, you're getting older. I know the older we get, the more difficult as men that could become. And then, if you have like high blood pressure issues and you're on certain medications, like I was thinking through all that kind of stuff. Like in that sense, in that scenario, it makes sense to me to potentially do stuff like that. So yeah, you said that it's that too. Okay. Yeah. I mean, okay. So, but I mean, on the post, most of the people were okay.
Yeah. If you can't come back later and disrupt my household, if your children cannot come back later on and make it so that we are in a situation, more power to you. Do you, boo? I ain't really gonna stress about that. I can't stress about that. Because I mean, at the end of the day, that's you and your people now. So like, I mean, same way, because I can't sit here and say I'm team women have all these rights over their body and they have the final decision because I believe that to my core, and then tell a man that I put my foot down and all honey, that at the end of the day you're gonna do what you do. So
yeah, absolutely.
Just give me the opportunity to have the conversation if that's the situation that we're in. But yeah,
I think I've seen too many movies. I've seen way
too many movies. You see, my first thing was like, what are the laws? What are the stipulations around this? Because this could go bad. I've seen this have a fantastical way of going very, very wrong. Like this.
Right. What was the movie where it's like dude had like 30-something kids, like a whole bunch of kids from donating sperm?
It's a recent show or movie or something that was being talked about, right? Dude, I don't know. Listen, those are the types of things that I allow to go fuzzy fast, and don't be mad about it because I let them do that. They become frames of reference real quick, but not.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let me play the video. He didn't donate. Oh, okay. All right, so let's watch the video.
As this say, he was just he implanted. My bad. Implanted is not. Never mind.
You said dipping. Wait. All right.
Donating and dipping is two different things. I thought she was saying no, he just had hella kids because he had hella kids. But no, that's what she said. Press play. Ignore me. Go ahead.
Do you want me to read the question first? No, we'll play it first. Hold on. All right.
Yeah.
Men are not dumb romantically. That's why when he leave you, he go get a next girl. Men are you, he go get a next girl roses that you've been dying for. He get a next girl a ring that you've been dying for. Like I said, men are not dumb, and I'm standing on that. I don't care what nationality, ethnicity, race, weight, none of that. Men ain't dumb. They know what they're doing. It's innate romantically for men to do what they want to do for the right woman. Period. I'm standing on it.
All right. So from
This was lit. Go ahead. Crunk juice, okay.
So from that, Q asked the question. Lord, I can't read this. Hold on.
Right.
Lord. Okay. The comment was A1 to me from a man responding to this video. What are your thoughts? Lord, no. Hold on.
I can do it if you want me to. I put my glasses on. Okay.
I gotta have to blow it up. This comment was A1 to me from a man responding to this video. I agree with both of them if I'm being 100. What are your thoughts? Quote, no, men aren't dumb. Some people or the right person can and will pull the best version of that man out naturally, effortlessly. And the big part is that somebody knows how, when, and where to talk to him. She makes him feel like he's a king. She's fluently speaking his love language. Therefore, she constantly pouring into him in a manner that he feels completely loved, respected, and acceptance. She is there when he needs her. You didn't write this part, okay?
This is not me.
Wait, I was gonna say, wait, huh? Okay. How he needs and wants her. This is more like how I write, not you. She knows how to make him feel like he's a man, like he's the man when she's running the show with her mind, spirit, and heart. Think. Most women in relationships will never ask her man if he's happy until she's no longer happy. Ask him what he needs and wants. Ask how he feels. Help him. Find out his love language. But not every man is the same, so it all just depends on the people.
Yeah, that was the brother. That was a response on the video. I clicked in and was clicking through there, and I thought that kind of makes some sense to me. He's basically, to nutshell, what he's saying, that yes, men. He agrees pretty much that men are romantic. They can be romantic, but it often does depend on the woman that he's with that brings that energy out of him, that desire, that creativity, all of those things to stay romantic, to motivate that romance to pop out, which is essentially what, if sis would have given us a few more seconds or whatever, I think if she would have elaborated, I hope she would have gone into that, because that's essentially what she's saying. Like, yeah, what he would do for you, that's the background of that. You know, I agree. I think men know very well what romance is. And what I think they have more ideas about what it is that their spouses like as far as romance is concerned. But I don't think that we are always honest with ourselves or our partners that they don't create that spark in you. It does something. It's different, you know, and that's what he's talking about. So that's why I liked his comment, because although it was, he went in some lanes and bobbed and weaved into some things that I was like, okay, you putting some sauce on it here. But I think the root of what he's saying is very true. There are definitely different people who motivate different energies from folks. You know, folks will show out in ways you've never seen before when they find that person that like lights them up inside.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking. So I was thinking a couple of things. So do I think that men are naturally romantic for the woman that they like? Yes, I think that we are naturally romantic. Let me say this. I think we are naturally romantic. I think the way we show romance, or the way that we show, and then I want to, we show romance is not always the volume and the volume or frequency and way that sometimes our woman likes to be shown, and we're doing other things thinking a lot of times that we're being romantic. And then oftentimes I think we exchange romance for what's the word I want to use, for like the stuff that we like, the other stuff that we do. So we think, for example,
Like provision.
like providing, like if we're providing well, you're going to be happy, and that is the equivalent of the feeling that you get when we do the romantic thing. So I think we sometimes have to realize that those things are two separate things. And to his point, I think he talked about how the way the lady in that man's life responds. I think that's important too, because sometimes if there is an environment where we're being told, shown, all that kind of stuff, then absolutely. And then if we know, and even to KG's point, if that is the thing, then we know. But if it is an environment that's rough and hard, and the things that we are doing are not appreciated, then there can become this thing of, like, I'm not as, I definitely can be romantic, but I'm not as motivated to be romantic when I realize that the person who I'm being romantic with doesn't appreciate it. So I think there's a lot to it. But let me also say this. I also think that we do very well when it's new, when relationships are new, because a lot of times the newness of the relationships motivate us, and we don't have all of the baggage that comes along with it. It's like everything is still fresh. So now we got all the baggage of time and you being in arguments, and
you're only winning points at that point.
Yeah.
You're only in the
yeah, it's a great way to put it. So it's like, yeah, of course I can be romantic because everything I do is plus, 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 plus. Like all of the red flags, we running right through them jokers at this point in the relationship. Then you miss a couple bills, you come, you get a couple days of morning breath, and like, I'm gonna need a little more. I'm gonna need a little more than that.
Yeah, I think communication is a real root in this, for sure. Because whenever I've like witnessed posts about where a group of women, or not necessarily even posts, been in different circles with groups of women and men together, our ideas of what romance are very different. And I think when men hear consistently, they hear a dozen roses every week, 5-star, 5-star restaurants, and we taking them out like on the town all the time. That is not what the majority of women mean when they mean consistently show romance. Because like, we know when you turning it up, because like Brother KG says, like, and we get that, we know. And sometimes that's okay. We cool, because we know. So it is how far you about to go for this. You know what I mean? And that adds a little to the thing. But the consistent part is that background thing that just means I matter. You're thinking of me, of just me smiling because this thing is for me. And do that regularly enough where when you do miss a beat, or you do miss the bill, or we are having a thing, and those are the things that I pull on first, not the fact that you showed out crazy for some kitty 6 months ago. You know what I mean? Like that, those little things are those breadcrumbs that keep us engaged in the effort, the intention, the provision, the ways that you could be showing us that are not woo, 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 romance. You know what I mean?
They're not the big thing.
Yes, that are specific and intentionally for me, that you go out of your way to do, that you may not get that immediate benefit from right now. Those are the things that help create a softer landing when you start losing points. Like, you know,
That's
so
real.
that,
That's real. I think part of the what you just said is, I don't want to skip that, is I think even is communicating the appreciation for those things, as well as communicating what those things are that you're doing, that person, like, it's like, hey, can I want to make it easy, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna, like, communicating those things, as well as communicating, hey, you know what, this week I got a really busy week, it would really help if you whatever, or, and they've got a busy week, so you do the whatever, but then you also, do something, hey, hope you have a great day today. I mean, just little things that can go a long way. And I said on the post too, I said, I think the other thing we have to consider too is when we're communicating that we're not getting it, that like, I think that as a woman, like, to say, if as a man, if my woman tells me, and she has before, like, I need some romance, like, you gotta know when she say that, you gotta move. Like, it's go time, green light time. This ain't like, let me think about it. This is, she's on E and the car is about to run out of gas, so you need to fill it up. So I think you have to also think about that too, because again, sometimes we don't know. And sometimes we think we are, or we get, mixed up in life too, and stuff happens. So,
yep. When she says it, just
go time.
Do something. Yeah, just
go time.
Ask questions in a minute, but I'm gonna need you to do something right now. Yeah, like
Go time. Yeah, absolutely. Keisha said, but you also have to be aware that what speaks romance to you may not do the same to the other person. What speaks romance to them? Absolutely. Partners can feel rejected if their romantic gestures aren't acknowledged. When it's not them ignoring you, it's lost in translation. Yeah. Also, we can tell you're just being romantic because you want the cookie, and that could go sideways fast. That could just make the other person angry. Yeah, if that's the only time you're doing it, and that's the only time you're consistently doing it, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Just like you only want to talk to me when you want some money. That would bother me.
Yes. Yep. That's the only time I get affection is if there's another. Yep. That's it.
Yep. If there's no ulterior motive behind what you're doing, it's like, never mind. Never mind.
Yep. So true. Yep.
Anything else you got to add?
No, I don't think so. I liked both perspectives on that. That was a nice exchange for me between the video and the thoughts that came from Homeboy's post. So
yeah, I just didn't want to. I think the other thing that I don't want to do is, like, I don't want to put it. So as a man, I think it is my responsibility to pay attention to the needs of my woman. So I don't want to put it on her to have to be the one to always do it. But also, one thing for me is I've also had to learn how to not, like, be programmatic about it. Like, I can be very programmatic about romance just so I can say I checked the box. So, like, I know, okay, like, in my mind, I used to, and I don't do this anymore, but I used to, like, okay, at least once a month, I got to do something. At least, like, that's what because I didn't want to ever be said I wasn't doing. But then it was like, this takes all the fun out of it, because now I'm just random, just doing this just because, and then I'm like, okay, you can't be the same day of every month, because then she don't know. So let me go.
Yeah, I was just about to say, because if you got something that you do the 20th of every month, like, bruh,
it gets old.
Who's doing this? Like, is this on auto ship? What's happening? Like, did you think about me real hard and long for one good day and set this up so this just
no, absolutely, that's what I did. That's absolutely what I did. Okay, January 3rd, and then 8th, this is her birthday, so I could, that was how I, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. So, like, on some level, it's like you have to remember. But so I'm just saying, I don't want to put it all on her to remind me, but at the same time, don't be programmatic about it. That's why I said, like, those gentle reminders help. Like, but again, it's not. I don't want to put the responsibility on you to have to be the person as the person I'm in a relationship to do. Just like I don't want to have to tell you, like, if I want some, I don't want to have to always be like, hey, I want some tomorrow. Like, that gets old too. So I'm not doing that. Like, hey, it's Thursday. You ready?
I've always thought in my mind, because, and this could very well be because I'm an affectionate person, like, just in general, I'm very that way. Like, I'm that way about the people that I'm with. So I've always thought to myself, and I've seen this in other men, and I've always thought, if the men, I've seen men who, when they are with their person, like, it's the the scheduling and the making sure that it gets in and having to think if it's going to be the same thing and all of that. Well, there are very real issues is not the word I want to use, but it's one I'm going to use, that need to be considered. But like, it's a joy. Like, they seem like it's fun, and it's random, because it's just as random as how often they think about their person, and they see the thing, like, they're seeking out different ways differently, because it's just a thing that they do. It's not necessarily something that gets forgotten, because that person is at the forefront of the moves that they make. Not meaning every week or every, necessarily even every month or anything like that, but like, it is it appears to be, this is very outside looking in, but it appears to be as though it is a very, it doesn't take effort. It's more intentional. So the effort doesn't appear to be as tasky. You know what I mean? Like it's the chores I gotta remember to do. It's one of those things that it's like, I'm looking to.
Yeah, I know.
Does that make
sense? What you're saying. Yeah, okay. It makes sense. I think in those situations, the ones that I've seen and experienced, it's a couple of things. It's number one, it's you know each other well enough that it does some of it almost becomes second nature. And the things that you're doing, they're things like you know them and you like the things too. So for example, I like buying clothes for the person I'm with. Like, I just like it. I don't know why. Call it crazy. I just like it.
Do.
I love it. And clothes, shoes. I don't follow a whole lot of people on Instagram, but a lot of them are women's clothing boutiques. So that's just, I'm like, oh, shoe look nice in this. So, but if I was with somebody who didn't like that, then that would be problematic. But typically, I've never had anybody like, I don't like clothes. But you know what I mean?
Especially if you got good taste. I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah, so I think that's where it, because like the things that you like to do are in line together. So it does make it a little easier. And, pretty much like you said, most of not all of your life, but most of that part of your life is centered around, like, when you go someplace, ooh, let me go check this out because I know she'll like this. And so, it is easier to do, but it's still, intentional. And it is, I'm going to say it's like hard work, but it is still something you have to think through. Yeah. And work out. But yeah, it's easier. It is easier. And I think some of it has to do too with, like, again, to your point, when you get to the point where you recognize that everything does not have to be, a huge expense, a huge planning. Like, everything don't have to be the Valentine's Day, Mother's Day type.
Right. That doesn't have to be.
Like, you can hit singles, guys. Like, singles are okay. They don't have to be the home run every time up the bat. Like, a card is good, a handwritten note is good. Sometimes, like, you got to mix those in, candy, a flower, like, mix a whole bunch of stuff up and not just,
listen,
not just a big stuff. Yeah.
That doesn't hurt either.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of proactive stuff. Hey, listen, I noticed you've been, you've had a really hard week this week. We're going to stay in tonight and have a movie night, just me and you.
Yep. For real. Oh, baby. Let me go put my socks on. into her fuzzy socks and the tank top, and onto the couch she goes. Tucked up under you. Yep. Happy to be.
Yep. Keisha said gifts aren't my love language. I would have to get used to gifts all the time. I do like gifts. Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Oh yes, it's top of the hour.
Show is. I
Let's see
know
if
fizzle.
Let's see if it's gonna work today.
Right. Hey Sugars, have you heard about the Blocked and Beautiful Braid Balm from Elegance by Design? The days of braids being weighed down by heavy products that don't hold are over. Blocked and Beautiful Braid Balm is perfect for box braids, updos, and the most intricate of braid styles. Let your creative juices flow, knowing Elegance by Design has your braids on lock. Order yours now at elegancebydesign.com.
All right, that is elegancebydesign.com. Anything you want to add to that?
It's hot. Put them braids up, child. Put them up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, if you have not yet registered, yes, you go ahead. Also, if you have not registered, next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'm hosting a 3-day recovering from relationship trauma challenge. So it's free. We're going to be talking again about different aspects of recovering from relationship trauma. I want you to be there. So all you have to do is go to the event page and get registered. And and then go to the click the link on there and get registered. So that's what it is next Monday.
I signed up in that thing.
It's gonna be good. Thanks, Keisha. Here is I just put
Yeah.
the link in here, and of course it's on my page as well, but it's gonna be dope. So y'all sign up. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
And the sign up is like super quick, y'all. Like it's like 3 clicks and you're in there. It's stupid fast. When it was done, I was like, damn, that's it. Like, oh, okay. Just wait now. It's not the day. Like it's super fast. Super fast.
It's pretty easy. Yeah, I try to make it easy for you.
Appreciate
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Listen, I'm here for the people. Do you want to go straight to the main topic, or you want to do this one that we missed?
We got another one we missed.
The protect. Your question about protection.
Yeah, we can do that one. Yeah, can move that.
Let's first
move to the main topic. No, we can go to the main.
All right, go for it.
All right, so this one is brought to you by our good. We are registered for this. That's right. So this one was brought to us by Win in the wee hour, in the late night hour of
I come when you want them.
But it was a really, really good question. So we're gonna dig into this for the second half of tonight's show. Question out there: have we lessened the benefits of marriage, or have we raised the bar to be married? Is this a good thing for us as a community? How will this reflect in how we build wealth in the future? And does it affect it at all? Okay. So over the past few months, I know we've had some conversations about life insurance and how those things, having that can help us with wealth. We've talked a lot about how we pass down real estate and, we can do wills and trusts and all of the things that help build wealth. But we've also had conversations where we've discussed the benefits of the legality side of marriage and how it can help build a very nice portfolio for a family or a couple or, married people because of the benefits that come with that. So that is where that second part of that wealth conversation came from, because this conversation of to marry or not to marry has become one that I know has shown up a lot more in our community than ever before. We are definitely having a different conversation about marriage than we have in the past. So I also really, really dug that follow up, because the way I dissect a lot of the conversation, it is boiled down to we're looking at marriage differently because we now need different from marriage. And it's not no, I don't want to be married, but I want these things to be in alignment before I am. So this one was good and got my wheels instantly turning, because I think it's a little bit of both. And depending on where the person is in their life, when you ask them this question, if they're going into a certain cycle or coming out of one, this could be, you could get both of these responses from the same person, honestly, depending upon, or you could get agreement for both of these depending upon, from the same person, depending upon where they are in life. So this was one I was excited about. What are your thoughts on this, bro? Your initial.
So of course, I had to go to some numbers to find out how I felt about this one. When I thought about it, my initial thought, and so here's what I found. So in 2019, there were 16.3 new marriages for every 1,000 women aged 15 and over in the U.S., down from 17.6 in 2009. At the same time, the U.S. divorce rate fell from 9.7 new divorces per 1,000 women aged 15 and over in 2009 to 7.6 in 2019. So it seems as though we are getting married slower and getting divorced slower. Now, the other thing I found that was very interesting was married people experience a personal net worth increase of 77% over single respondents. Additionally, their wealth increases on average 16% for each year of marriage, whereas divorce respondents' wealth starts falling 4 years before divorce, and they experience an average wealth drop of 77%.
Oh, that's interesting. So the wealth began to fall before the divorce even began. Because that's where it started to often people will say after they've come out of that cycle that it began long before that conversation was had. So that starts to be affected in finances and decisions that you make because that disconnect begins.
Absolutely. Because usually whatever the situation is, that the catalyst that broke the trust, the first sign is usually we start splitting out that, okay, let me take my money and put it up so I can protect myself.
Yep.
Just in case.
Just in case.
And so we start to do that. And at that point now, wealth happens. And then of course the other person knows and the deterioration starts. And so it's a very intriguing thing, which is why, again, why I do what I do. So as a money and relationship coach, because these things go together. So, and a lot of times the reason the mistrust is over money. So it's usually not infidelity. It usually has something to do with one person not being able to spend or them not being able to get or save, and them not being able to get on the same page financially. So that's usually the huge issue. But so I thought this was interesting. So I think overall, I feel like we have made marriage not the be all end all of, like, it used to be like the apex of life was marriage.
Or it didn't begin until then. That's right. Like this is where it all. You're
not married? Oh my God, like what's wrong with you? Are you okay? Like that used to be, whereas I think now it's shifting into, oh, okay, you're not married. Oh, do you want to get married or no? Right. Or I think, now don't get me wrong, I still do think there's still some of that, how come you ain't married out there, but it's not as much as what it used to be. So I think that's still that's kind of what we're saying. And I think that we're raising the bar to get married in a good and in a bad way. So I think on the, if we're talking like the good ways, it's like I'm not going to be desperate. I'm not going to settle. I'm not just going to take somebody because, marry somebody because I'm getting old and it's time for me to get married. If it's not the right person, it's not the right person. And as a man, if I don't feel like this is a partner and I don't feel like I'm getting just as equal love and respect as she thinks that she should be getting, then I'm just going to, stay out in these streets. So I think the bad part is, kind of what we talk about in terms of the defensive nature that happens amongst each other, where we don't even really allow ourselves to enter into the possibility of marriage well, because we come with so much trauma and we come with so much like raised defenses, and we come, thinking that every person is like what, TV says and culture, majority of, predominant culture or dominant culture is saying men and women should be, and what real men and real women are, and so it's like we come in like, all right, let's go. And, I'm just, I've had conversations with people recently and they're in like really good dating situations. And they're like, I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop. And I'm like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
She's done nothing to make you think that that's going to happen, right? No. So why are you waiting for it?
And that is just that energy is literally tying the shoe up like hella tight.
Yep.
You are sliding it on, or you might as well slide up under a little knee and just, there you go, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where I couldn't, and I like to be able to just say yes or no to a thing. But this was one of those where there was wiggle room, because the benefits, especially because not only from the apex of life perspective, there was a very, not so long ago, there were more overall tangible benefits to being in a marriage as opposed to not, whether it be financial, societal, wherever you are, like that had advantages. At this point, those things have kind of been equalized, so to speak, where we've done more equal opportunity for, home ownership. You can build a certain amount of wealth on your own, as opposed to whereas you had to have certain things and certain boxes checked. There's tax loopholes and all types of things that are making it so people can still win solo. So the original benefits of marriage don't weigh the same. So I think we're in an identifying stage of what the benefits now are going to look like, because we're adjusting them. They've been shuffled a bit. Not saying those other things aren't still benefits. We didn't remove those as benefits.
Right.
If that box needs to be checked for you. But as far as the level of priority and where they fall, by and large, I think that's been completely, we threw all that in a box and shook it up and said, okay, no, these things are now what we're looking for, because everybody can have that. What sets this relationship apart from no relationship or all the rest of the relationships? Is honestly not a bad thing. That's one of the positives to when we shift, because there are benefits, but the benefits that we often tell each other we have are not always the ones that people are using to make their day-to-day life decisions. And what we do with the marriage, the parts of how we're qualifying it now, as far as taking longer to do it, I think we have begun to understand what purpose individually means differently than we have ever before. So
what purpose individually means?
Yes, meaning it's not so much weighted in our existence. So when we do decide to go into a relationship, it needs to have its own purpose as well. Like, I don't need the relationship. I don't need this marriage to create my purpose. I have that now. So when I move into a marriage, it's going to either add to this purpose, or I'm going to be so amazed by this thing that I want to also add, we're going to create our purpose, this purpose together. But I'm going to be okay outside of this. I still have a fulfillment about me if, regardless of this relationship. And I think before that was looked at as a negative. having a strong core sense of self. I can be okay if not, without this relationship, but I really, really dig having this, and I want this, and I'm going to work to keep it. For a while, that sounded taboo and crazy, like you were trying to have your cake and eat it too. But I think some of those stats would show that if we were to dig deeper, the people who have made that understanding have better marriages because they're not asking so much of the marriage in itself to fulfill the person. You know what I mean? So we're taking longer to do it because it's taking us longer to figure out how to do us. And then when we when we decide to take us on the road with someone else, we still have to go through those processes too. So then when we do finally get together, divorce isn't really the conversation that we're having because we've done the pre-work to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to, so that divorce doesn't become that first go-to. You know what I mean? So I think the way that we look at it is different, and it's not all bad.
To your point, which I totally agree. I think the other part of that, in terms of like marriage in itself having a purpose, that and I usually say that marriage has a person that fits, like where both of us bring our purposes together, and the marriage fits that. I think part of that happens because is because one of the things that we're seeing, which I think is a good thing, is that people are actually waiting longer to get married.
Yeah.
So so now, data says that the average age of a first marriage for a woman now is 28, whereas before it was 26. So you're waiting a couple of years, and even though 26 to 28 might not seem a lot, and for a man it's 29, actually almost 30, where it used to be 28. So I think now those are those prime ages, not even so much where marriage, where you're more mature as a, I think it's where you're more mature and purpose becomes a little more focused. So you're not in that bright-eyed, bushy-tail, out of high school, out of college, the world is my oyster. It's like, wait, I really got to start figuring out who I am, what I want to be. I've played a little, and now it's like, okay, now I'm get serious. Like you're in that, starting to get into that phase of life, as opposed to, it's going to be my, in high school and college, we're very naive, and that's fine because you don't know. I think that plays an aspect on it. And when you're in there, you're more focused about career. You pick careers differently, which helps increase wealth, which helps you pick partners better because now I don't want that. These things right here don't work for me. These things do. And the other stuff, I just, you have to kind of learn along the way. But yeah, I think there's a lot of nuances to it, to the purpose, to you talking about purpose, that I think it really is fitting, because when you can hone in on your own individual purpose, then now you find that complement, or if we want to use Bible terms, that suitable helper that helps you accomplish and meet the purpose and reach the destiny that you're trying to do. And that's a game changer right there. And that's where I think exponentially wealth grows, where, like you said, you're not arguing about want versus need, and like you said, and that you recognize that there is value to not only this person, but there's value to this relationship, that I'm willing to do the work to make sure that makes it get there. Yeah.
It's
I was going to say, and now cheating brings on a whole nother concept, because now if I cheat, I'm not just cheating on, a person. I'm cheating on something that's got a purpose to it.
I've jeopardized the plan. All this work we've been doing for what? Yeah. You're invested different. Your investment is much different when you have bought into and nurtured the plan. You know what I mean? Because you're risking it all. To me, that's the root of risk it all. When you've done that work and you've set the plan, you've got the blueprint, you're building walls, and then
and listen, and all actually has some substance.
Yes.
Like If I'm saying all and I ain't got
Good
nothing,
brick. These are good brick walls, you know.
it took me some while to build this. And you mean
Yeah.
I'm about to lose? Nah,
Yeah.
that was too much to let that. I'm not letting that go.
Yeah.
I tell people now all the time, like, to get to where I am now was too much work. I'm not doing nothing
For
stupid
what?
to mess that up. You out of your mind? Absolutely not. All I had, all the work. Look, all the work I had to do. Nah, I'm good,
Yeah.
fam.
Yeah. Real talk. Yeah. So, and I do think a person can build a lot of wealth for themselves solo. I do also believe, though, if family is your long term, like if you do have, because I think it's one thing to have children that you can provide for and create a nice nest for if something were to happen to you. However, I feel that wealth is definitely not only gained in numbers, in the idea of if you go into a marriage and then you're adding, if family is one of the goals in that marriage, I think there are higher benefits to having a marriage as opposed to you here do your thing, you here do your thing. Because not only does it create in-house wealth, all the benefits we just talked about the two people, the purpose and all that, it also gives your children, your family, your children and the extended people around them the opportunity to see that blueprint in action. You get to see what it looks like to do things together, and it creates a space to grow it in their mind for the next. Because it's one thing for you and your babies to get paid and be settled and set. But if you start creating a pattern within your generations, that's where that Johnson & Johnson type wealth come from. You know what I mean? Where them where you good and your baby's good. Where Beyonce say my grandkids gonna be, you know what I mean? Like my great-greats gonna be good, my kids. That's the way that you start to build that. So,
yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out.
Solo, but there's a lot of intangible benefits to creating a wealthy environment for your family through marriage as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I definitely would not want to think that you can't create a ton of wealth.
Oh God, yeah,
married.
You sure
but
can.
And some people don't want to get married, which is fine.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I made that distinction. Like if family or kids is one of your things, like that's something that you might also think about, because you could be an awesome dad or awesome mom and have a good, all the stacks that everybody is provided for college. That is perfect. That's awesome. But that intangible flip side of that is that blueprint, that you can actually build on. You can add rooms to it as you go. That is the goal. And I think seeing it in action is so more beneficial than just saying it's paid for. It's paid for.
Yeah.
It's paid for.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely a bigger benefit than wealth, than money.
Yeah.
But absolutely. I think even just just the like you said, the exposure, like there's definitely some things that you're exposed to that so yeah, it's absolutely something if you want to try to figure the word. My words are not where I must be getting tired. My words is going.
I don't know if you noticed, I've been back over here doing, what is that? The yawning through my eyes that Kels laughs about it. And a couple of them, I just had to flat out. It's been a long day. Yeah, I'm not mad at you. You looking for your words, and I'm looking for the rest of it. I'm looking for the rest of it.
Where's that word? Let me find that word. Oh, come back to me, word.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Rightly off in the distance.
No, you're somewhere out there.
Yeah.
But no, I do think so. Yeah, I think that the other thing is that in order to be, people might not agree with this, to really be a good partner, you have to, maybe the word is not master, but I think you almost have to really get really good at being single. And I say that because I think
you have to be good at being single.
You have to be really good at it.
Like be a good partner.
Yeah.
Okay. I missed the beginning for whatever reason. That's the word that left me was partner. But go ahead.
I think you have to be a really good partner. And I say that because I think a lot of times we are or have been so focused on, again, marriage being the apex, that our lives were centered around doing the things that made us husband material and wife material,
Mhm.
as opposed to doing the things that just made us really good people material.
Yep.
And so I
Yep.
think if we spend our time doing those skills and learning those attributes, then when it comes time to transition into being a husband or a wife, if that happens, then you're not trying to figure out how to be this great person for somebody else, because you're already a really great person for yourself. And I
Yep.
find a lot of times I'm having to coach and develop men and women into just like, okay, so it's one thing to have to navigate the transitions of being single to married, because there's definitely some transitions, but it's another
Mhm.
thing to have to navigate the transitions of who you are as a single person, and then having to be comfortable with your identity as a married person. Because if
Yep.
you have not solidified who you are as a single person, and again, start doing all of that work as a married person, you're going to feel like you're losing something, because now it becomes everything is about we and very little is about me. So, or the me has to
Mhm.
fit in with the we, as opposed to it really just being about me. So I think we have to just say, look, what are the things that I can do now as an unmarried person to just become better, to be a really good single person? And then that way, when I become married, now all of a sudden I'm good, and I'm just adding that much more value to
Right.
say a person who I'm in a relationship. So learning, things like, some of the things we might call basic, but if you don't have,
Mhm.
skill set to cook, the skill set to maintain a budget, skill set to,
Yep.
keep up a house, like these are all things that men and women need to learn, how to, yeah, I ain't gonna go there,
Yep.
but just,
Because the last thing you want to do is figure it out with either someone who also doesn't know, where it weighs more because it's both of y'all. You put both of y'all's money into an account. Neither one of y'all can budget worth a damn. Y'all finna be broke and tired. Real quick, because everybody's working and nobody has no money now. You know what I mean? So it's one thing to go into it, both of you ignorant, but then you add a whole other level of frustration and anxiety to the situation, and say that one person has it and the other doesn't. And we're trying now. I've got to, while I'm learning how to do this with you, I'm teaching you as well. So there's a different level of anxiety, and I want to say fear isn't the word. I think anxiety is probably the better word, because I can't fully be vulnerable in the things that I'm going through as the person who knows. I'm speaking on behalf of the person who is aware. They are dealing with a different level of anxiety, knowing that they can't be fully vulnerable about whatever fears they may be having going into their situation of meshing the two, because I'm teaching you now. You got to end up being confident at the end of this that this is going to be okay. Now's not the time for me to tell you that I've never done this before. And the fact that you have no effing clue of how to do this scares the hell out of me. Whereas if you were in a conversation with two people, or you were having a budgeting conversation with two people who had an understanding of how to budget solo, you could come to that table together and say, okay, so this is my way, and I know you got your way. Both have been working, but I'm gonna need you to know that, like, we're gonna have to figure this thing out together. This does make me nervous. We got to figure this out so we can both still be okay. You know what I mean? But when you shift that around, not saying that you're never ever supposed to teach your partner something, but the basics are, it's important that you're pretty proficient in your basics, because the whole meshing and melding of the married in itself is going to bring challenges that you would not ever imagine, that aren't basic. They're very complex. They've got all kinds of twisties and turnies to them that you don't want to be figuring out how to balance your checkbook while also twisting and turning around the bend of
figure out how to make
figuring out life with another person. Yes.
Yeah. And I think, to that point too, like with something like if we're using like money, because there's multiple aspects of it, like learning, like identifying that too. So I have people like, okay, he's a good earner and she's a good, she's a good organizer. So she's not the best at earning the money, but she knows how to make sure everything is paid. He's really good at earning. So like having that having that understanding of what you're good at and what you're not good at, and then trusting one another, because to your point, the bigger thing, especially from a man, is now you're saying that it's difficult to talk to you about it, but as a man, it's hard to feel respected when you know that something that is basic you don't have. And so now you're left feeling like, man, and sometimes she's left looking like, how am I going to respect this man and he can't balance a checkbook? And so it's understanding those nuances of the issue that help you come in and say, okay, like I can budget a little bit, but I'm not as good as you. Or I can't budget at all, but I know how to make all the money, and I'm okay with you doing that, because you can't. I've got couples where one person is really good at the investing side, the other person's good at the budgeting side. So let's figure out, you handle the investments, you handle the budgets, and we work together. So, but there's still a mutual level of respect, because she's not good with the with the investment, and he's not good with the budget.
Right.
So
they're on equal deficits and equal killing it. Yeah. Like I went over here, but I do not do well. Vice versa. So it's easy peasy because we even.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, but still working on it. Like, to the point of working on it. You're not just like, as a single person, I'm never gonna try. I'm not gonna worry about it. But no.
Right. Yeah.
No. So, and again, it's not just money. I mean, you're talking money. You're talking.
Oh no, not at all.
You're talking about, again, managing a home. You're talking about career. You're talking about your spirituality, your faith. You're talking about how you treat your family. You talk, like all of that comes into play. So, and there's always, I don't care who you are, there's always work to be done. There's always growth to be experienced. So, like, just be on that journey consistently, and it happen. It will, if it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen.
I completely agree with that. We have our journeys. We're very easily distracted sometimes, and I think it's important for us to pack good lunches. Our knapsacks got to be packed right with the good stuff. If you're getting you're getting ready to take a trek, you going hiking, you don't need a whole bunch of ish that needs Wi-Fi. Like, that's not going to help you on your hike, sir. There's no Wi-Fi in the woods. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna need some batteries. You're gonna need to go old school for that hike. So just
some matches.
yeah. We gotta equip ourselves with the good stuff to actually get us to the other side, like back to civilization. Right. That is, I sometimes think we get sidetracked by that, and I'm glad that we are moving away from getting lost in the love and having the conversation about truly identifying who you are, being selfish for a while, so you can truly identify your boundaries, your lines in the sand, and those things that are gone. Or, you playing. You know what I mean? Like, there are things that we need to go through solo to test ourselves, our own character and grit, before we start to add that to someone else's life. Because as much as we hate to say, we expect things, and there are expectations of another person as far as our happy is concerned, or our peace, or our stability as people are concerned. That is just delusional to think that once you say I do, and you say I vow to do XYZ things for you, that there are not expectations that come with how that's supposed to work in the day-to-day.
Oh yeah.
So until you're clear about you, that's gonna always stay gray within your relationship. So I'm very thankful that is what we're shifting to, and it's going to be, by the time our kids are grown and out here making life decisions, creating families and things like that, that won't be taboo. The making sure that you're good and strong and capable and healthy, and got all of your ish together and are a good person first, is not going to be so hard to come by. The thought that you got to get you together before is better, as is going to be more easy to understand, as opposed to whereas us and our people before us were taught you didn't become who you are
until you got married. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I am, first of all, I'm very impressed by a lot of the single people, unmarried. Like I said, Daryl O'Neill would be really mad if I kept saying single. Unmarried people.
Unmarried people.
Now, I'm very impressed at our willingness to not settle and to be okay and not okay with being unmarried. Like okay with not settling, okay with I need to do work on myself, and okay with this didn't work, so I'm not going to stay. I'm not going to stay in this. Now, the second thing I want to say is all of us don't. Some of us need to be honest with ourselves that it ain't the
as
other
happy
person.
as we say we are. Yes,
we ain't happy as we say are, and B, it's not always the other person. Like I'm just gonna say it. It's a whole lot of people who out here lying to themselves that they're ready, and and the reason they we single is because we raising the standard. Nope, you're not raising the standard. You're just mean. Let's just call it what you're a mean.
Like maybe they're raising the standard. You are doing something different.
You're mean.
You're not them.
And you have decided that you're just going to settle in your meanness, and because you've been single for so long, mean is just who you are. Like you're let's just be clear. You're not single because something is wrong with everybody. You're single because you're mean as hell.
Yeah.
And that's just that's like, we got to stop lying and saying that when the reality is no, you're not a good person. You're just not.
And it's not. And I need people to say it's not always that you're mean or any of those, like the top tier aggressors as far as why people aren't in relationships. Like, because being mean is absolutely one of them. If you have a terrible attitude, that is going to keep you in a loop of just you. But there are, if you are, you can't be just, if you are one of those people we talked about earlier, that you can't have a conversation about, a healthy confrontation about issues. If you haven't done the work to actually be able to communicate like an adult when something needs to change, those, you could be sweet as pie, but you confronted with something and you're the victim now. Now I gotta save you. Oh shit. You know what I mean? Like those types of things will catch on. And you'll often see them show up in not just your romantic relationships too. If you are upset long term as to why you are unmarried, you might want to poll some of your people that you did not lay with. I'm positive they'll tell you why. They probably feel the same way, but they just can't go nowhere. The fact that the boo could like bounce, they were wishing they could have been the boo. You know what I mean? Like, no, like you are hard to do this, or it makes it hard for a person to love you when you It's not always just because you got attitude. Some people are hard to love because they just don't get it. They don't see what other people do to love them.
And they overvalue the things that they're doing.
Yes.
Like you overvalue certain things, and it's like, that's not like. Don't get me started. Let me get off this soapbox.
I went back to one of those shows we had a few months ago, man, where we were talking about the cost of loving you. Where you discussed the cost of what it takes to really be in relationship with you. When folks start clearing your tab and they rolling out that receipt, keep rolling. That's when you okay, never mind. Carry on, player. As you were, sir. That's when you start hitting them with that. Never mind.
You know what? Never mind.
I'm gonna give me another drink. How about that? I don't want to close that after all.
I'm just gonna go on over here.
Yeah. Quiet and still.
I get it. All right, I ain't got nothing else. I'm done. You got something else?
More yawns that I'm gonna swallow down, but This is
All
good.
right. Since we didn't do this well at the beginning, let me remind you all again. Listen, if you have not joined our Patreon, please do. This is for us to be able to expand what we are doing, as well as to give you additional content. So we've got a couple of different offerings for you that will allow you greater access, discounts, private interviews, and things like that. So go over to our Patreon and check it out by going to patreon.com/Real Scoop Show. And again, we want to go. We want to go worldwide, baby.
Worldwide, Greg.
So yeah, so go ahead and support us. Again, go to patreon.com/Real Scoop Show so we can we can blow this up. But we appreciate your support as always. We appreciate you all tuning in and listening and joining the conversations and your comments. And it's good to see some of our people back. It's good to see Dre and Shatoria, and of course KG and Mr. Turner. It's good to see you back, sir.
Hey, Daddy.
I saw my mom on here. I saw Kels and Jamaica was on here earlier. I don't know if she still is. So yeah, if I missed you, it was just I wasn't trying to do it on purpose. But yeah, so it's just good to see all of you all tonight. Thanks for the comments. And you got any final words? Sleep well.
Right, sleep well. Night, sugars.
And y'all do know we are again on SoundCloud. So if you do miss anything, you can always go to SoundCloud. Oh, let me say this. Y'all go ahead and Shatoria has a conference coming up. Y'all go ahead and register. I'm gonna put it on my page. Me and Q gonna be there. So y'all make sure y'all go ahead and register in October. Lord, forgive me for not remembering the dates off the top of my head. Hold on, I can tell you. It's October, because I got it in my phone. It's October. Where's the flyer? Look, that's how you get old. You do this.
Oh, I was gonna say, oh no, you didn't just pull your lip down like that. Ooh. I got called out for that on the video chat a couple of weeks ago. Oh no, you didn't get up on that camera like that. I did
because you can't see.
Oh, that Bluetooth kept. Bluetooth doesn't like video chats for whatever. That bad boy disconnected so fast.
And yes, I am the keynote speaker. Is October? I want to say weekend of the 27th. Something. Hold on.
It's October, y'all. It's July. We got time to give you the deets. Go to
we need to get folks registered. So there it is. It's October 16th through the 18th in San Antonio, Texas. It's the Forgiveness to Freedom conference. So again, me and Q gonna be there. I'm the keynote speaker. Coach Eunice is gonna be there. So it's gonna be good. So y'all go to hold on. I'm gonna put it on my page. So y'all just go to my page.
I tried to tell you that. Didn't I just say that? Like I was trying to get you out to just post. I was like, it's October, y'all. We're gonna share the information with you in a minute. Like it's just such a big.
It's on my page. So yeah, I'm just about to put it on there again. So
we're gonna have it right next week, sis. We're gonna be on point next week.
Y'all just
give us a do-over next Tuesday.
I just posted it on my page again.
There you go.
All right, go ahead. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Again, you got any final words? You good?
Good night.
I saw the look in your eye, and I'm like, she's done.
I am. I'm sleeping.
Y'all
I'm fading real fast, faster than I thought. Right, right. My blinks are getting longer and longer. That come back up ain't working the same way it was about 45 minutes ago.
Good night.
Good night,
see y'all next week. What's up, Danielle?